Good evening to everybody. The volume's a little bit too high. Crank it down here for a little bit. There we go. I believe so. I believe that we have audio. There we go. How's everybody doing? Good evening on this Saturday for everybody that is watching. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News and America's Boys News. God bless everybody that is watching. God bless my country of Mexico, my city of Tijuana. And God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. For everybody that does not know, Mexico put restrictions now on their north border, but specifically on their south border. Why their south border? There was a threat or a potential caravan that is conforming and that is forming now on the 30th of March. Amazingly, there are individuals from the United States involved in this caravan. Hi to you guys. But going back to the news, it's potential this caravan that it was forming, and it's a lot of necessity that is going on right now in South America, and specifically in Central America. So they were trying to form another caravan for this 30th of March. Due to this factor that the government of Mexico knows that there was a potential caravan and also ultimately spring break and all this kind of stuff. This happened. And it's an article by the Chicago Tribune that is in Spanish, but I will translate before we get to the potential information that had just happened, breaking news in the South Door in Tapachula, that we have visited that city 3 times. This is the restrictions from Mexico. It says Mexico puts restrictions of travel in their South Door. It was released by Maria Versa from the Associated Press in Spanish on March 18 on 2021. This has to do a lot with what I am about to say. And it says right here, Mexico announced on Thursday that they will limit the essential crossings from the South Door due to the enormous expectancy of the coronavirus infections, and also as a way to control sanitary measures in our country. The announcement was done by the Secretary of International Relations in his Twitter account, which from now has been a year from this pandemic, and to stop the enormous infective COVID infections that are occurring in our country. Also, the Chancellor, that is the Secretary of International Relations, Marcelo Ebrard, he has come into an agreement about the both of the countries, that is Guatemala and Mexico, and also the United States and Mexico, with the term of the backs, that I'm not going to say the complete word. Marcelo Ebrard has said the details are between the negotiation between the White House and that they were going to be, the United States was going to loan 2.5 million backs to Mexico, as a loan. Here you see why they are trying to stop it. This is the irregular crossings that are occurring in the river of Suchiate between Guatemala and Mexico. And, this is done. It says right here, both decisions has been in a virtual agreement that it was done on the 1st of March between the President Joe Biden and President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. This is important for everybody that is watching, that now all of a sudden Joe Biden has changed completely his mind, and he was inviting migrants to come, and now he's saying no. Completely changed of mind, because practically he knew and he knows what kind of problems they're occurring at the border. So now there was a virtual meeting, a virtual meeting on the 1st of March between President Joe Biden and Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador in terms to the immigration and the pandemic, that there were central topics. It says right here on the next paragraph that the Mexican government, they have already put restrictions on their crossings on the north door, that is, Mexico on the north, since March of 2020, as a petition that it was done by the past president, Donald Trump, with limitations to activities that they are non-essential due to COVID-19. Also, it says right here that all of this has been done ultimately to prevent COVID-19 that is going to initiate on Friday and the propagation of this virus on the 21st of April. You see why. And there was a potential caravan that they were speculating, and they're trying to stop all of this. Again, the Secretary of International Relations is going to implement a message to implement, concrete actions. And the Associated Press gave up a message that they are going to limit crossings as tourism and recreative crossings. But it is not going to affect permanent residents that they are in Mexico and temporary residents that they are in Mexico, or people with visa of work visa, or people that are traveling with medical necessities or with international commerce. It is the same thing that the United States is doing. Mexico is doing it right now to Guatemala. The same thing that the United States is doing to Mexico, Mexico is doing to Guatemala. It is exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Exactly. So Mexico has learned that the essential restrictions of essential crossings to the United States has worked to lower down the infected or the spreading of the infected virus. So Mexico has said, this has worked. The Secretary of International Relations, Marcelo Ebrard, says this has worked. So I'm going to start doing it now to Guatemala. And they're going to start doing it right now as it is effective. And the administration, it says right here, of Joe Biden, they have been starting to dismantle several measures of what Trump has put to stop migrants from soliciting asylum. So this, it's the Biden administration is dismantling some codes that supposedly Donald Trump implemented to stop asylum seekers, but Joe Biden is telling them to stay home. I don't understand the purpose of this statement. Really, I don't understand, because Joe Biden is saying stop and don't come. And now you're saying that you were going to accept people to come and their refugee and asylum case to be held in the United States of America when they're not. You're not letting in by 100. You're not letting in by quantities of 25. You're letting in by 2, 3, or 5. So I don't get, the statement right now of the president of the United States. And this is done to the crisis that is occurring, and also that Mexico has been deeply affected by these enormous influx of migrants, and specifically in Ciudad de Tapachula. Due to that factor, people, that Mexico has implemented now restrictions in Tapachula, this has happened today. Our contact from Tapachula, that is a great contact. And also we got journalist contacts in Guatemala also, and we have journalist contacts in El Salvador and in Honduras. This is a photo today of our Mexican Inami arriving today to the border. This is the information that it was given to us. Around 100 officers from the Institute National of Immigration have arrived to the border of Tapachula due to the potential, influx that it was going to happen on, supposedly in this incoming weeks. and the potential caravan that it was supposed to come on the 30th of March. So right now, the government already knows that there is a potential caravan that it was going to come. So they are sending a little fraction of, of immigration officers to the border of Tapachula. So they are getting prepared right now. This is extremely important for everybody to know how they are going to handle right now the restrictions. As this is an image from that particular point, you see the officers right here walking down. As I have shown you numerous times, these videos when the officers are arriving to the border, and you see, a lot of these colleagues of ours and journalists, ocean spray, that they are, going over there doing their coverage in their city. This is them arriving with, their luggage. A lot of these officers, they are traveling from different parts of our country to go and do their service and to protect the border, in Mexico. I'm not going to criticize Andrés Manuel López Obrador in this particular part, because Andrés Manuel López Obrador has done a good job on, stopping the enormous influx of migrants, I'm saying enormous, caravans that it was coming. And that is not the correct way to migrate. The correct way to migrate is documented peacefully and with a purpose and in an orderly fashion. How they have been migrating due to necessity and enormous influx, it is not the correct way. So you will see, enormous, distribution of officers, and they rotate the distribution of officers around the country because of security reasons. So you will see right here more officers from the INAMI arriving to, right here on the top, it says the entrance to Guatemala, you see on the top. So these are officers that they're awaiting for their calling and ultimately for their potential station. You see right there walking on the side of, of the port of Guatemala. I have been here with our friend Ben Bergquam and also with Anthony Agüero, our colleague. We have been broadcasting from Guatemala, and also we have done this for more than 3 years. And we have gone there for more 3 times already. And we have walked through this particular area. It's really humid, and it's a really hot area. This is a really humid and hot area right here. You see right here another photograph, and they're having a meeting with the person in charge. So more than 100 individuals that they are going to be stationed in our south border right now to basically, do this. That they are right here. You see a video where they are telling the citizens of Guatemala and also the citizens of Tapachula that the essential crossings are going to be done. This is really important because they're educating them and telling them new restrictions are going to apply due to the enormous caravans, the enormous propagation of the virus. So we have to have a plan and a security plan. And now Mexico is using the same strategy that the United States has been using for the past year on COVID restrictions to Mexico. Now Mexico is doing exactly the same thing with Guatemala. Let me crank the volume up so you can hear a little bit, of the audio of this video. Hold on right here. So this is actual video right now of Tapachula and the city that connects, that is Ciudad Hidalgo, the city that connects to Guatemala. Our contact gives little small clips, and it's really important. This is how they are being returned as they were crossing, the river, and they were being returned back. Due to that they are not essential right now. So they were being returned back to the river. And, a lot of the people were going back and forth, but a lot of them, they have residency, and a lot of them, they're Mexican citizens that they go to Guatemala to do commerce. And a lot of them, they are Guatemala citizens that they are, essential workers, as they are involved in international commerce, as the restrictions that I just mentioned in the past statement from the Secretary of International Relations has said. So you will see a lot of this. It doesn't mean that they are crossing illegally. No, they're Mexican citizens and they're Guatemala citizens. As you know, the difference of a border is the difference of protections. That is, it's amazing how the difference of the border, the border geographics in terms of the United States to Mexico, how it's done. But in Mexico, with Guatemala, you see this. There's no limited wall. There's no customs right there. There's no, eventually a card tracer. There's no customs, with dogs and all this kind of stuff that the United States has with Mexico. It's different in Mexico. But, there's a lot of people that they are, that there's a lot of people that they are practically, legally working back and forth. So this is another example of that. This is, a officer just talking to a person that is asking for the documents. As our contact was explaining to me, this person it was not essential. As you see, there's a lot of people right here waiting for their cross as they are essential, but this individual right here was not essential, so they are restricting the entrance to people that they are potentially not essential. You see the paperwork that this man is carrying right here. Possibly he is not essential to cross right now, as the restrictions are going to in effect with the border of Tapachula with Guatemala. You see right here another audio, and let me crank this audio back so we can listen to what the officer is telling the migrant or the person that they're trying to cross, that they're possibly not essential or essential. So let's listen to this audio and I will translate. This is the immigration officer from Mexico on the left, right here with the white t-shirt and the mask. And these two individuals, possibly they are non-essential citizens. Let me just hear the audio.
Solo para la feria nada más y vamos a regresar de vuelta. Independientemente de los motivos al que vaya, siempre tiene que pasar de manera regular. ¿Sale? Así que para...
The immigration officer is telling him, you can tramit your pass and your legal documentation at the immigration offices. This is crossing from an irregular fashion. You have to have your proper documentation to cross regularly and to ultimately prove that you are essential. The gentleman right here on the orange shirt is saying, we're just going to cross. We're just going to get something to pick up. And the officer is saying, no, you need to tramit your correct. You need to fix your correct paperwork for order for you to become essential right now due to the restrictions. So this is an actual, example of the Mexican immigration officers doing their job as directions were being directed by the Secretary of International Relations, Marcelo Ebrard. Let me put the volume up again. If you don't count with the an immigration permit, you are going to have to return back to Guatemala. Please, so we need to return, and this is a complete and good example for everybody that is watching right now. This is a good example of an immigration officer returning a non-essential citizen to Guatemala. The Mexican right here immigration officer on the left is saying, so you don't qualify, you're not essential, you don't have the correct paperwork to cross to Mexico, so you need to return back. And the gentleman right here on the red shirt says, so we need to return back to Guatemala. And they say, yes, you need to return back to Guatemala. The Mexican official is doing his job as it was, directed to do so. God bless you and have a good day, he says. Please start doing, again, I'm repeating the video for people that they don't understand. This is the Mexican official right here on the left doing his job and telling the non-essential crossers from Guatemala that they're crossing irregularly and undocumented. And the Mexican official is saying basically, start doing your paperwork legally so you will not cross irregularly to our border. Basically telling him you're not essential and you cannot cross. And then he's saying we're just going to a feria. A feria is like a carnival. And that is the only thing that we're going to. And the Mexican official is saying independently, there's no justification for that. You need to return back and you need to fix your paperwork for you to be essential. All the time you need to cross, in a regular fashion. So due to that factor, as this right moment, if you don't count with an immigration permit, you are going to have to return back to Guatemala. So we return back? Yes, please return back. So this is what the Mexican government is doing right now. For everybody that is watching this, it is important for people to know how the restrictions are being done in our south border in El Salvador. Now you see 100 immigration officials doing their job at the ground and specifically, practically following instructions from the Secretary of International Relations, that is Marcelo Ebrard. Let me see if we got another video right here. You see another video of another possible individual that is being returned back. Let me crank the audio up so we can hear what this immigration officer tells the lady right here as she is possibly going to be returned back home. Yeah, they're all waiting for me, the lady says, and says the immigration officer, yes, but you're not essential. You're not, you can't cross to Mexico. Yeah, we cannot let you in if you don't have the correct paperwork. So this is another example right here that Mexico is doing their job on restricting the entrance to essential crossings into Mexico from Guatemala to Mexico. They are restricting the entrance. Also, let me see if we have another video right here. We have another. It's exactly the same video, but from another take. As you see, a lot of people being returned back or coming to the port of entry of Mexico. That is the other side of the river. And they are acknowledging that the restrictions are going to start. And this is another video, another clip, important clips for you guys to see. As you know, the immigration officer, it is basically asking for the paperwork. This lady right here in the back just basically gave up as she is hearing him talk to him. And it's amazing. A lot of people are saying, oh, the water rafts. And if you see on the back, it's just a simple observation that it has nothing to do with this scene right here. Is how this man, they work on the water raft and they pulled a water raft with almost 10 to 15 people on top. If you see on the back, wow. But, this is another example how the Mexican government, it is working right now to practically implement the essential and non-essential crossings due to the enormous influx and the irregular entrance of migrants that has been occurring, and also the irregular entrance of undocumented minors that also they are entering our country. This is another video of the officers getting ready for their their strategy to basically know where they're going to be stationed and where they are going to be put. So how's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News in America's Voice News. I just did an explanation that Mexico puts restrictions on the entrance of the south door from Tapachula to Guatemala due to the fact that there was an speculated caravan coming on the 30th of March. Now you see this restrictions being put on the south door of our country, where Marcelo Ebrard, the Secretary of International Relations, gives the statement to the country of Mexico that we are going to put restrictions not only on the south door, but also in the north door that is with Mexico in the United States of America. This due to basically Mexico wants to go back, go back and reopen their activities. We are almost clear in some states of the enormous COVID infection. So we are almost cleared in some states with with infections of this virus. What they want to do, Mexico is really want to reopen to get back to our economy and to start schools and to start our lives over, all over again. So there's no other way by protecting the borders and specifically being strict to who enters and who does not enter our country. So this is a good move from the Secretary of International Relations, Marcelo Ebrard. I believe that is a perfect strategy for us to, control the fluency inside of our country. We have a COVID problem. There is a pandemic. There's Guatemala also does not want caravans. They have been given a statement, and not only the Prime Minister of Guatemala, and also that it was Pedro Brolo, I believe that it was, and also the consular of the head of the consulate in Guatemala of Mexico also gave a statement, and also, I don't remember the name of the person that it was in charge of the American citizen that it was in charge of the consulate in Guatemala. The U.S. representative that it was in charge of the consulate in Guatemala also gave a statement that they are not going to be permitting no caravans. They are going to try to stop this enormous influx of movements. Those were statements from the head chief of the international relations of Guatemala. That is, I believe, that is Pedro Brolo, and also William Pop. That is his name. The head chief of that. He is a Democratic representative in the American from the American consulate in Guatemala. He also gave statements of saying we are not going to let these caravans continue, and also the Mexican uh, representative in Guatemala also said that please don't put your families through this travesty and to this horrible journey. Please stop migrating an enormous influx in these caravans. So for everybody that is watching, Mexico is putting restrictions in their south door. They're doing their job. Now let's see what it is the United States response to this border crisis that is occurring right now. They don't want to call it a crisis. They want to call it a challenge. They want to call it a challenge because they want to held responsible and they want to held accountable the past administration that it was Donald Trump, but they don't call it a challenge when it was they don't call it a crisis when it was in the Barack Obama administration, which that crisis was created in that administration signing the globalist compact of immigration. More than 90,000 kids had been deported in the year 2015, the year 2014, and the year 2015. They were made the child cages. So nobody's talking about that. There was no crisis in the Obama administration. There was a crisis in Trump administration, and there's no crisis right now in the Biden administration. The Biden administration, there's only a challenge. That's how it's categorized right now. Wow. So there has been a border crisis since ever. I don't know why people don't analyze and don't understand that we have been having a border crisis since with migrants for the longest time. So this is information for you guys, breaking news for everybody. You see actual video of the immigration officials in the south door of Tapachula protecting their country, and ultimately, doing the particular inspections to essential and non-essential crossings. I will accept the live feed for 5 minutes of questions, Q&A for everybody that is watching right here. Q&A, make your questions, short. So I will have the opportunity to answer and, and to give, to analyze your question and to try to answer it as much as correct as possible. Good evening to everybody on this Saturday. Welcome to everybody that is joining. Q&A for everybody that is watching. We just finished the information, but I will give 5 minutes of questions for people that want to ask a question. Ultimately, I have my phone right here, so if my manager sees a question that wants to send me, I will be watching right here the phone also. So somebody's asking me, how are you? I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Gracias a Dios. Estoy bien. Gracias a Dios estoy bien. Estamos vivos y estamos vivitos y coleando, ¿no? Trabajando y haciendo lo mejor que podemos y felices, más felices que nunca. Así es que echándole todas las ganas. Thank you so much. Somebody's asking, how are you? I'm doing good. God blessings and blessings to everybody that is watching. So I'm doing good. There's a question right here by Paula. Right here. Paul, I will put your question, Mrs. Janet. It's a question right here by Paula K. Why is Mexico implementing the border closures? Thank you, Oscar. Because of the enormous influx that is proximately coming. There was a caravan that they were planning to bring on the 30th of March. Not only that, because there's a possible influx of irregular crossings that they're not essential and they're considered non-essential. So they're implementing kind of like the same strategy that it was implemented by the administration of Trump. And now they're implementing it in the border with Guatemala. So, basically Mexico, it is categorizing their border as essential and non-essential, not only in the south, but in the north also. Ms. Brenda Hendricks asked, question, Oscar, did Biden meet with AMLO to put this in place? They had a virtual meeting, as I mentioned before. They had a virtual meeting where they discussed this, and ultimately the one that takes the decisions is the Secretary of International Relations, of Public Relations, that is Marcelo Ebrard, and he took the decisions to, that they were, taking the decision to put essential and non-essential crossings. Miss Janet Bolt, you're asking a question that has a lot of capital letters that I cannot read because of the live feed will be, kind of affected, but I don't have information regarding that. Okay. There's a really, really important question right here. Ms. Glenda Murphy says, what will your president get out of the Pact of Immigration? You think, Oscar? Oh my God, I'm hoping that one day he will realize that this is not profitable for our country. The Globalist Compact of Immigration, it is just a broken system that it does not help migrants. Really, it does not. We need to look on another possible way to help migrants and to help these third world class countries that are suffering. But a globalist compact like this one, implemented by the United Nations is not being held accountable for all the people that they have died under their globalist agreements, that they have not worked and they have only complicated the life of migrants, making an illusion and making a hope that everything is going to be okay on their journey that is hurtful, that is so harmful, and that is so dangerous. So the United Nations need to be held accountable for all of this. Melissa D, how is Mexico implementing the closure? Are they sending Mexican Guard to help? This whole video was related to that. So I suggest that you go back and watch, possibly you just joined the live feed. I suggest that you go back and watch since the start as soon as I finish. Oh, for people that are asking, there's my PayPal on the top if you guys consider this information valuable for this live feed. Why can Texas just close the gate? I have said numerous times, it will cause an economical collapse in your border. If you decide to close the borders, there's a lot of international agreements, and the United States depends on international commerce. So remember, your capital comes from international agreements and international commerce. The United States is the most capitalist country due to international agreements and capitalism that is implemented around the world, and there also your tariffs and your sanctions. So by you closing the border, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It is not closing the border, it's border security. It's securing more the border. That is what is the solution. Missy Price says, "Thank you, Oscar, for bringing us real news. Also, sorry the Biden administration has caused this crisis to your country." It's not only the Biden administration. It is not the current Biden administration. This crisis has been carrying from the longest of time. It's from the Obama administration. This was created from the Obama administration. They signed this globalist compact. Barack Obama, the president that deported more Mexicans and Latinos in history, was the one that caused this. And you want to say that these other people accusing Donald Trump of being a racist president, and you are not even looking at Barack Obama, that he deported more Latinos and Mexicans in history. What is that? That is just because you wanted to deport people and you wanted to. They're not talking even about how many families he separated. And you're talking about separation of families in the administration of Trump, but you're not talking about the separation of families in the Obama administration and the crisis that it was created in the Obama administration. In 2015, we saw 15,000 migrants from Haiti right here in our city of Tijuana. So this is a long pathway of failed policies from the Obama administration, and it's right now is demonstrating of the result. Thanks so much, Oscar. It looks like our countries are working together to stop the chaos. Doubt Biden administration has anything to do with it, though. The Biden administration has to do with the fact that they poked this illusion and this hope for the people to think that they were going to be helped immediately. And they created this chaos right now at the border. They created this chaos right now at the border. Migrants are stationed right now in a camp right here in Tijuana because of him. And also in other ports of entry, they are entering enormously because of the enormous promises that he said. So it has to do a lot with since I'm not going to mention it again, but we're not looking since the problem started. And the problem started since the Barack Obama administration. That is when it started. I'm jumping a little bit. Jumping a little bit of the questions. Somebody's asking right here a question that it has to do with the C word. And it is, Oscar, how is the C activity affected by the closed borders? I don't know. There's, they have an absolute control of our country. The head chief of the Pentagon said the other day that, they did a study on our country and they say that more than 35% of our country, it is controlled by the organized crime. So it potentially is not going to stop. That is a business that it has to continue. So, it's difficult to say because that is a whole different ballgame. One last question right here, or one last comment. Ms. Patricia says Obrador is assisting in stopping child trafficking. Bravo. No, he's stopping just the enormous, in a way, it has to do with the essential and non-essential. I agree with you. It has to do with the essential and non-essential. But the problem right here, Ms. Patricia, is that he's not concentrating on his country. That is the sad thing about it. That we are number 2 for child trafficking and number 2 for killings of women. And you see him at a press conference and is being asked about that, and he always justifies with the past administration or with Calderon, or he blames Fox, or he blames El PRIAN, or he blames everybody, but he doesn't being responsible for his own administration and the insecurity of our country. So that is the problem, that he's fixing something, but the most important thing is the Mexican people. What is it going to do with the security of our Mexican people that we are suffering? The indigenous, the poor people in the mountains, the poor people in the rural areas, the business to get the economy going. We are -1 on, an economical increase, and we are -8 on the gross domestic product. we are suffering. We are number one for mortality deaths on COVID. We were that a month ago, and we were number one in mortality deaths on doctors and nurses of COVID. We are suffering inside of our country, and is the most insecure president since the revolution, with more than 85,000 deaths in the first 2 years of his administration. So, holy cow! Well, we have a problem. He's trying to do something with it. I cannot take away the good things that he does, because I am an independent. I'm not for a political party. I have said this so many times, and I'm not for political parties because I don't believe in political parties. I believe that the power is the people. That is me, but I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not for a political party in Mexico. The only thing that I can tell you, this is not for political parties anymore. This is for fixing a crisis that is not only a border crisis, but it's an insecurity crisis in our country of Mexico. We are suffering strong right here. And it is because of the enormous control of the organized crime in our country. We gave them the key for our security. That is a problem. One last question or one last comment before I go, and wish you guys a beautiful evening. God bless you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I will be doing a little short video right now on my phone to, do this video and put it on also on Facebook. I have to do it in Spanish also. So, hopefully you guys can watch it later on, and I will put all the pictures and the short clip videos for everybody that is watching. God bless you all. Have a beautiful weekend. Follow my partner, Real Anthony, or whatever you can follow him at Orbeez, Facebook, YouTube, Parler, and Telegram. You can follow me as Oscar L. Blue and my channel at YouTube. Please, you guys, sometimes you say I can't comment. It's because you're not subscribed. So if you go to my channel, there's a little bell right there. Click it, like it, subscribe to my channel at YouTube. And also, you can follow me at Facebook as Oscar L. Blue. Like the page and follow. And also, you can follow me at Instagram as Oscar L. Blue. And also my channel at Telegram is Oscar L. Blue. That I haven't done a video in Telegram, so I probably will be doing one right now as soon as I finish editing a video for the people in Telegram. Follow me at Telegram as Oscar L. Blue. It has been a magnificent live feed with you guys. We have 43 minutes. I think that we did it on perfect timing. So God bless every single one of you guys. Have a beautiful weekend. And like we always say, people, peace and love. And always, your country's first. God bless.